Morning, everyone. This is Bridging Fears, Bobby Shades. Not my usual intro. I'd like to get to the heart of this. Let's get it. So, gentleman out in Memphis, Tennessee, was murdered by 9 individuals. We saw 5 cops beat a black man to death. There was another cop off to the side. And there were 3 emergency responders that were let go for not attending to the victim as he was severely beaten, injured, and eventually, subsequently, he died. There are some very fine, very, very fine men and women across this nation that put on their uniforms, that put on their badges, their holsters, their guns, and they put their lives on the line each day. So this is not an attack on them, but more of an attack on an arrogance, a culture of arrogance. That people can do things and get away with it. Horrible things and get away with it. You know, it kills me, cameras and body cam, that kills me all the time, that someone will do something for those rogue cops that stand up as men and women and lie. They lie. But they stand up and they say, oh, he was running. Camera shows he wasn't. Oh, he reached for the gun. My nose gets a little clogged in the mornings. As in the case of Tyree Nichols. There was no reaching up, no gun. If anything, he ran. And then they held him as another officer punched and kept circling him to punch him in the face. Or, as he was down, kick him in the face. Or, the one officer, the Caucasian officer, was off to the side and said, I hope they beat his ass or stomp his ass or something to that effect. Hoping and wishing and praying. A traffic stop that took place technically the day before a traffic incident, and they were stopping him at that moment. A day later, a few meters away from his mother's home, that he yelled, Ma. Reminiscent of George Floyd when he yelled for his mother, Ma. I don't believe that this happened once before. As a matter of fact, one of the officers was charged for a 2017, 2018, 1916 incident when he was a correctional officer in the beating of an inmate. Allegedly. The chief of police was either let go or reprimanded at another facility for telling a investigating officer not to look into the happenings of another officer or the wife of the husband of somebody that had kiddie porn on in their possession, in their receipt. I just learned that word. I'm taking a employment and labor class. Receipt. We can go culturally as far as like white and black. I'll gleam over it. And I don't gleam over it just to not put emphasis on it, but because this particular situation is bigger than that. But the one officer to the side that was pretty much orchestrating and directing the incident is a white man. He's on suspended pay, pending investigation. And the other officers, the black officers, were fired, and they've been charged with, no, I forget which degree, one of those degrees of murder. See how he kind of got off? Well, he's pending investigation, and the others were quick to swift justice so far. Now, mind you, and this is the truth, one group can't do what the other group does. It's just a given. Okay, now that I went over that, a culture of arrogance. These cops did what they did because, in my humble opinion, and this is just my opinion, they've done this before. They've hurt, they've beaten, they've pushed, they've punched, they've kicked, they've spat on, they've cursed at anyone that has come in their midst. All of them? I don't know. One or two or three? I wouldn't be surprised. One does not brazenly do something like that unless the culture of that department has allowed or turned a blind eye to, let me make it nice, inappropriate actions, excessive force in the pursuit of apprehending a perpetrator. I don't believe that this is a one-time incident. Jim Jordan, politician, he was asked, do you think that there are any kind of laws that can be put into place? Oh, I don't know, something that evil. But when politicians, it doesn't make a difference what party, want to do something, they do it. Maybe he's just not that important. Maybe Tyree Nichols or people like him maybe look like him. It's just not important. But when they want to do things, they do it swiftly. They go up to the Senate, they draft bills, and they pass them. How are we supposed to put faith in those that serve and protect us? Don't get me wrong. I've spoken to, in my former life, many officers. I remember one in particular who said, the mentality is, if you come across a perpetrator, you don't know the scenario that's going to play out. You're hoping to be in control of this said scenario, but you don't know. So the attitude becomes, either you're going home or I'm going home, and more than likely I'm going home. I'll never forget an officer told me that, a female officer told me that, I'm going home. The insurmountable situations that they come across, they can be on the smallest of scales. I know an individual that works in the school system. He's part of engineering and maintenance and all that. It's a rough school in its own right. He says it's not uncommon that you'll see a student crap on the floor and just look at you and walk away. It's not uncommon that they're in the halls and the stairwells, and you say, guys, you're not supposed to be, and curse you out. I hear his breath away from your face, saying, do something, do something. That's just maintenance. So surely police officers across the nation come across incidences that's unfathomable. Men and women dealing with circumstances that, if they're trained well, are supposed to, dude, just go in. There you go. Are supposed to de-escalate and be able to do their jobs without incident. But many times it doesn't happen like that. And it doesn't make a difference what culture. It doesn't make a difference if it's black or if it's white. One does not know what one is walking into. I knew an officer many years ago. Domestic violence. He was an Italian guy. He was all over the news. And the husband, everything seemed fine. Next thing you know, the husband came out with a gun and shot him in the head. That guy too was Italian. So my point is, it doesn't make a difference what color or culture. An officer does not know what they're walking into. So in that respect, yes. Adrenaline is high. Anxiety is up. There's a lot going on. Just want to get home to your family. But this right here was a straight up stomping down of a human being who ran away. They tased him, grabbed him, they held him, arms back, as another officer circled and punched him. At one point he was down, I'm not sure of the timeline, but he was down on the floor, and another officer calmly walks over and kicks him in the face. Why? Just trying to control the environment, He was already on the ground. You had 4 other officers on him, and you just calmly came over and kicked him. Why? Seen that once before. 2 officers. One officer had the guy down. Guy was compliant. Officers just came back, bang, kicked him in the face. Why? Because he reached for the ground? Because he reached for the gravel? He reached for the cement? He reached for the sidewalk? That's what he did. And one of the officers was brazen enough concerning this incident in Memphis. He was just trying to control him. He reached for the gun. You got a fucking camera on, bro. Camera's gonna talk for you. That kills me. The lie, the straight up lie behind it. He reached for the gun, or stop resisting. Guys complying all the way. Stop resisting, so that it can be said, and the narrative is there that he or she was resisting, thus excessive force had to be taken. More getting into had to be taken to subdue and stop this perpetrator. It's always a thing. Always a thing. Rest in peace, Mr. Nichols. My condolences to his family. And to all those that either openly beat him to death, or didn't render aid, or were compliant in directives verbally. Gonna tase you. Rotten hell. I hope you get to. I hope they put your ass under the jail. Culture of arrogance. I'm Mr. Bridging Fears. I said that wrong. I'm Mr. Bobby Shades. This is Bridging Fears. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Helps the algorithm. And I'll see you guys in the next clip. See you.